Hello, welcome back. This week we're on bin 2, which doesn't have quite as many worms as the other ones, but there's still a good population. So let's check in on them. Let's take their blanket off. Ooh, and then they're just hanging out here right underneath the top. So since the last time we've checked in, I've actually done a little bit of gardening. So I actually came in and grabbed some of the finished castings here off to the side. So the level in this bin is much lower than it's been for a while, but there's still a good amount of finished casting. So I'm going to go through here, start by checking on these off to the right. Remember, we feed on the left and we harvest on the right. There's still some like baby worms and some other small worms in here, but it's mostly all finished. I mean, this looks pretty good. Ooh, here's a guy. I'm actually gonna pull a little bit more out today. Yeah, look at that. I mean, there's still some pieces in here. It doesn't look like stuff you'd buy in a store, but this is perfect for my garden. Oh, there's another worm. As I dump it out, I'm just gonna slowly dump it into another container. That way, if I do pull a worm or two out, that's all right, but hopefully if there's a big guy, I can see him and get him back in the bin. That looks good. I'll do another double handful. Oh, there's a few guys over here. There's the baby. All right, we got some more stuff for my new seedlings. I'm doing cucumbers and tomatoes this year. Okay. All right, let's just dig down to the bottom. Yeah, it's a little bit wetter down on the bottom. A few more worms down here. I'm just getting down here just because I like the finished stuff. First of all, I like getting in here and touching it. But also I want to make sure I get oxygen all the way down here. Break it up. Make sure I'm growing the right kind of microbes. I don't want any anaerobic microbes. That's where you get the bad smells from. Okay, looks great. I'm going to start breaking into this second, I guess quartile, the second 25%, second quarter. And here we've got some, still a bit more bedding in here, but not very much food. Looks like everything's pretty much broken down, but I am seeing more cardboard. So I mean, they could still do some more work here, but they've eaten all the food out of here, which is good. So that looks good. All right, now we're gonna look in this third quarter. This is where we fed him 4 weeks ago. And so you still see some. There's a pit and a lot more worms here. So you can see there's a lot more bedding, a lot more worms. There's 2 worms going at it. You can see them, they're like through each other's wings, or little rings. I don't know how well you can see that. Just means they're happy if they're doing that, so that's a good sign. But yeah, there's still a lot of bedding in here. Still a lot of stuff for them to break down. I'm not seeing all that many like actual food scraps. But you know, they will break the bedding down over time. Oh, there's a little bit of lettuce. All right, now let's look at where we fed them last time. Yeah, there's some celery stalks. They're working on it, but the celery takes a little bit longer down than some other, little bit longer. There's banana peel, which they really like. Oh yeah, here's where they all are. Another banana peel. We didn't feed them that heavily last time, so I'm not that surprised to not see all that many worms. As I said, there just aren't that as many worms in this bin. But I think I'll feed them a little bit more this time than I did last time, and maybe give them a little bit extra water. It's not feeling dry, but it's feeling, it could be wetter, let's say. Okay, so we're all set. So we'll start by adding our shredded up cardboard or whatever bedding you have. I have shredded up cardboard. That's pretty good. Can never have too much bedding because they will eat that too. And then I like to scatter my coffee from the week in there. So I'm going to take all the grounds and make sure I break them up as good as I can. And just spread them out. It's a lot of good nitrogen, good for the soil when I eventually bring it out, and the worms. So it's easy to eat snack for them. It's very consistent. I drink about the same amount of coffee each week, so it's always something for them to do. So here we got the bedding with that in. It's a good base food for them. Then I'm going to add in all of my kitchen scraps. And here we actually took the time to, you see the white dust here? We took some time to grind up some eggshells, which is a good source of grit for them because worms have gizzards. Helps them grind up their food. So it is a nice additive. If you don't want to do that, there's like sand that you can buy that you can add in here to help with your worms. All right, that looks good. These are just from the garden, some tatsoi that had bolted, so we added that too. All right, now we just, I'm gonna give them a little bit more bedding, not a whole lot, because there was quite a bit of bedding still just here. I hadn't gone through most of it. And I'm gonna cover it all up. Get the worms back on their food. Level everything out. And I got some water here because it was a little dry, so I'm going to add in a little bit of water. Okay, now I'm going to cover them up and then I'll check back in them. We'll check back in 2 weeks. I'll see you then.